I'm Joanna. Welcome to my channel. This is my 26th video. Today I'm going to review 4 books, 3 fiction, 1 nonfiction. Let's get started. My first novel is The Hounding by Zénobie Purvis. This is a bizarre story, but I was so intrigued by the tone of the novel. It's set in the 18th century, and the central theme centers around 5 sisters and a grandfather. They live in a small village deep in the woods, practically in isolation. The peculiar thing about this is that the 5 sisters seemingly transform into dogs. The story is told in the voice or voices of many characters, which is interesting. One of the characters is Pete Darling, and he's the ferryman who transfers folks to and from the mainland. Pete Darling hates the Manfield sisters more and more throughout the novel as we read, and he has various reasons for that. A lot of it is, misogynistic, so it seems, and but he also is very aware that there's something peculiar about these girls, and he is convinced that they are dogs. So he spreads the rumor around the village, and the villagers are exasperated pretty much at this time because they're enduring a drought, and a scapegoat like this rumor to thwart their anger comes very easily. And so they turn against, they're very suspicious of these sisters as well. So this family of sisters and grandfather are feeling the hatred among the villagers. And so the father brings in this physician to diagnose the girls to see if something's going on. He does that, but is his diagnosis correct? Honestly, the novel is slow to reveal answers, which makes it a page turner. And it also shows the vulnerability of people. We sometimes, or in this case, the villagers are so easily persuaded. I understand this story may not be for everyone. It is a challenge, but for me, I give it 5 stars. Novel number 2, The Road to Tender Hearts by Annie Hartnett. So I listened to this on audio, and I recommend it. The narrator's comforting tone settles you right into this story from the very first chapter. The setting opens in a small town in Massachusetts, and it's told in the voice of Jacob, a 63-year-old man who has suffered many tragedies in his life. And other characters are his ex-wife, who he is very close to, and her boyfriend, soon-to-be husband, and also Jacob's best friend. Jacob also has a daughter who he's a bit estranged from. So Jacob finds out that his dream girl in high school, Michelle Cobb, is now a widow. So she's in Arizona, and he decides he's going to go down and ask her to marry him. However, Jacob's brother dies tragically, bizarrely, and even though he has been estranged from his brother, the kids are left in his guardian. And so there's Ollie, who is 8, and there's Luna, who is 10. And they didn't know they had an Uncle Jacob. So it's a very complicated new family dynamic. Jacob convinces the children to come on this road trip with him. And Luna agrees if they can stop in Utah to find her biological dad. And of course, Ollie just does what his sister does. So he follows. And the dad convinces his estranged daughter to join them. And he also has a cat that comes on the trip. There are a lot of harsh realities in this story. Jacob's coping methods, the emotional damage that both the children are enduring, and the daughter who's been practically neglected. The characters are completely flawed, but completely lovable. Anne Hartnett is able to intertwine family tragedy with laughter, with tenderness in this novel. It's so original and it's engaging. Anne Hartnett is a talented writer. I recommend this novel highly. I give it 5 stars. Novel number 3, The Last Carolina Summer by Karen White. So it begins with a 9-year-old little girl named Phoebe, and she goes out bird watching. There's a storm she gets caught in, and she gets struck by lightning. Now she is able to see and dream of future events that come true. This does complicate her life a little bit. When she is of age, she goes to college in Oregon, and she becomes a science teacher there. Meanwhile, her older sister Addie, is left behind, and she cares for her mother, who is suffering from dementia. Eventually, Phoebe has to return back home and help care for her mother as well. And Adeline and Phoebe get into kind of a sister rivalry, which has been there from the beginning because Adeline is so beautiful. The mother used to be a beauty queen. She and Adeline would always enter a beauty contest and things like that, where Phoebe was the complete opposite. She had an aunt that taught her about birds, and she enjoyed bird watching. Another character is Celeste, a grandmother who had a granddaughter who went missing years ago. And she also has a grandson named Liam. He is currently a neurologist in this small town. And when Phoebe returns and meets Liam, there is this strong connection that cannot be denied. Phoebe begins to dream more dreams, get more and more premonitions, and it all seems to center around the girl that had gone missing. This is a real mystery, and the author writes compellingly. She is able to weave together these people who are flawed and show their strengths as well. It does seem that when we are able to unlock truths, we are able to become happier people. And at the beginning of each chapter, the author talks about a particular bird, its peculiarities, and its significant behavior. I really like that. And the ending is satisfying too. I give this 4 stars. Book number 4, my nonfiction book, Adventures in the Louvre, How to Fall in Love with the World's Famous Museum by Elain Sciolina. So this book is packed with information. It's lovely. She talks about the title of the museum, the Louvre. We don't know where that came from or what it means. And she researched and researched. She talks about the Mona Lisa, of course, and all the other impressive artists and pieces of art. She talks about ghosts that are in the Louvre, and they're all believed to be true. She explains what stands out about a particular piece, gives a synopsis of the artist, their background, their personality. This book takes us through cultures thousands and thousands of years ago, and that curiously explains our current culture today. A hobby I have is making pottery, and while I was at the wheel, I was listening to the Louvre on audio. I always felt like I had like a personal guide, although you can't replace the physical presence or experience of being at the Louvre, but it felt like, I was in an art appreciation class, at the very least. If you have an appreciation for art or want to learn history, this book may be for you. She is thorough. She is so well researched in this book. I enjoyed it, and I give this 5 stars.